ఆర్గనైజ్ చేయండి.
లేదు మేడం అయిపోయినట్టు.
మేడం.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning to all the viewers, team members, principals, teachers, and dear students. Welcome to a brand new day of our webinar sessions. First, we have economic session of Unit 4, Planning. For any individual to fulfill their dream house or a building, we need a plan or a blueprint which gives us a concrete shape for their dream or ideal house. In the same way, we need a planning or a framework to gain an overall development of an economy. It was the Soviet Union which explored for the first time 5-year plans in the year 1928 to the total world. Then the roots of planning was proposed in our country by our renowned civil engineer Sri Vishwesharaya Garu, who showcased it in his book called the Planning Economy for India in the year 1934. Yet this proposal of planning has got renowned into many changes and became a concrete shape in the year 1950 after the establishment of Planning Commission under the leadership of Jawaharlal Nehru for the developing of the country of India. Let us learn in a detailed way about each 5-year plan in our today's session hosted by Srimati Sri G. Sridevi Garu, PGT Economics, TSMS Miridodi, Siddipet District. Madam has good academic achievements in her profile. She is a resource person for TSAT, digital classes, and she also has done worksheets for SCRT. She has worked in renowned institutes like Villa Mary, St. Francis, St. Anne's, junior colleges for nearly 14 years of experience. Her qualifications are has masters in commerce and economics. She also has done her postgraduate diploma in business administration. She is also a bachelor in education. Let's welcome Sridevi ma'am. Over to Sridevi ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning to all the principals, teachers, students, and my dear viewers. Today, my session is on your 4th unit planning, intermediate second year economics planning. As we know, children, what is this planning? It is, I can say, thinking in advance. What is to be done, when it is to be done, how is to be done, and whom is to be done. So these all come under planning. So let us start with the topic planning. The contents of the session are concept of planning, types of planning, importance of planning, major objectives of 5-year plans in India, and these are the topics. Coming to the learning objectives, students today will be able to understand that essence of planning is scientific choice and systematic thinking. And they will also understand about economic efforts needed to achieve the planning objectives. And they'll also understand the measures required for improving living standards of the people. Even they will know about the different types of planning, and a country chooses the one which suits its political structure. And they even understand about the economic planning in the Indian context since 1951. Coming to the planning concept. Planning in every country has its own economic planning in some degree with its own method of implementation. So what is this economic planning? Economic planning is nothing, children. It's about the 5-year plans, and it talks about equity, growth, modernization, self-reliance, balanced regional development, reduction of unemployment, etc. This all comes under your economic planning. Plan is to act with a purpose. For every plan, it has a purpose and a task. Planning is an economic mechanism for resources allocation and decision making. In a planned economic system, resources are allocated by the central government, and planned economies, that is, countries, are usually run by the government. And it is a technique and a conscious effort made to achieve certain predetermined objectives. Yeah, here comes the types of planning. There are different types of planning, children. See on the screen, we have planning under capitalism, planning in a mixed economy, planning under socialism, democratic planning versus authoritarian planning, centralized and decentralized planning, planning from above and below, and perspective planning and annual planning. Now, we will go in detail the each and every type of planning. The first type of planning is planning under capitalism. What is this capitalism first? Capitalism is nothing but, children, it is an economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit rather than by the state. So when you see on the screen, there's one definition sign, an economic system in which the means of production of goods or services are privately owned and operated for profit. And you have certain features on the screen, that is by market forces. What is this exactly, the market forces? Already in intermediate first year, we have studied about the market forces. Those are nothing but the economic forces, that is supply and demand. The value of these commodities in market are determined by the market forces. And that is nothing but, we can say, the action of buyers and sellers that cause the price of goods and services to change without being controlled by the government. Coming to the another feature, that is freedom of enterprise. Freedom of enterprise is nothing but whichever company it can adopt, establish, and with a free entry, they can enter into the market. Then choice of customers. It refers to the decision that consumers make with regard to products and services. When we study consumer choice behavior, we examine how consumer decide which products to purchase or consume over time. It all depends upon the customer's choice. Then coming to the other point is your profit motive. The profit motive exists because individuals and corporations have a private interest in a company. Like individuals are free to take risks, their money and efforts by starting a business. They are also free to seek better employment opportunities. One thing, children, here, the state may intervene by providing basic facilities like control of law and order for the smooth functioning. Moreover, I can say in modern world, there is no country which is purely capitalist in nature. Next, we go with the other planning in mixed economy. What is this mixed economy? Mixed economy is nothing but, the first point tell us that coexistence of private and public sector. It is an outstanding feature of the mixed economy. Certain industries will be in public sector and certain industries will be in the private sector. So private individuals and firms own private sector industries. Then coming to the other feature in mixed economy is your personal freedom. Under mixed economy, students, there is a full freedom of choice of occupation. Although consumer does not get complete liberty, but at the same time, Government can regulate prices in public interest through public distribution system. You are aware about the PDS, public distribution system. And you have private property is allowed. In mixed economy, private property is allowed means it protects and allows a level of economic freedom in the use of capital, and but also allows for government to interfere in the economic activities in order to achieve social aims. A mixed economy system is a system that combines aspects of both capitalism as well as socialism. Then next you have the economic planning in mixed economy. The entire economic structure is subject to planning of government. In mixed economy is a planned economy. The planning commission decides the objectives, targets, and allocation of resources. Therefore, government always try to promote economic development of the country. Thus, economic planning is very essential under this system, that is mixed economy system. Next, you have private motive and social welfare. The public sector is mainly guided by the social interest, but an element of profit is also there. Thus, profit motive is allowed to play its role within certain limits to it. Next, you have price mechanism and controlled price. Here, the government has an exclusive right on production, distribution, and consumption. Here, central authority is required to solve the basic central problem like what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. So these all come under the price mechanism and controlling the price. And you have another point, check on economic inequality. Economic inequality sometimes referred to income inequality. That is wealth inequality or wealth gap or income inequality, etc. Next, you have control of monopoly power. When you talk about monopoly power, we have already studied in first year. Single seller market, a monopoly, individual who controls the entire market is called as monopoly. But here we are talking about control of monopoly power. So it is said that to control monopoly power, government will interfere, which can make it happen. And government in every country follows a set of acts which aim at controlling the monopolist activities in the whatever country where you take to control the monopoly over here. Next, coming to the other type of planning, that is planning under socialism. For socialism, also we have some core belief or features, we can say. That is, first one is public ownership. Socialism is a populist economic and political system based on public ownership. It is also known as collective or common ownership of means of production. Like example, machinery, tools, and factories used to produce goods that aim to directly satisfy our human needs. The second feature of socialism is central planning. The guidance of the economy by the direct control of the government, and over a large portion of economic activity, government will have a control. Decisions on what to produce and how to produce and whom to produce, it all will be decided by the government over here. Coming to socio-economic objectives. Socio-economic objectives are nothing but here to control inflation. It will maintain the stable prices, okay, and steady and sustained economic growth, low unemployment, and a balance of payment is maintained here. Freedom of consumption. This implies that the production in the state-owned and run industries is based entirely on the taste of the customers. That is nothing but preference of customers is valued, and socialist economy along with your customer sovereignty is maintained here. And equality of income and distribution, the fifth point. It tells about the significant level of state involvement and can be truly achieve an egalitarian society. What do you mean by egalitarian society, children? Egalitarian is nothing but means of supporting the idea that all people are equal and should have the same right and opportunity. So that way, equality of income is maintained over here. And the sixth point is planning and price control. Central Planning Authority fixes the prices for many commodities and regulates the market over here. However, there are always a market price at which consumer goods are sold in the market. Next, here comes the democratic planning versus the authoritarian planning. So it is in a tabular form, children. You can see on the screen, authoritarian and democratic. First, we talk about the authoritarian. It is done to people and it is compliance. What do you mean by compliance? Compliance is nothing but a rule or an order, okay, right? And then teaching, direction, feedback, line management, and it creates and dependency. So these are the features of your authoritarian planning. Basically, historically, the majority of governments were authoritarian earlier, ruled by monarchs, and these governments have unlimited power over here. Coming to your democratic, to the right-hand side, it is done by people. Commitment is there. Commitment is nothing but quality of being dedicated to particular activity or a cause. And you have learning over here, reflection, dialogue, leadership coaching, and it develops and capacity. These are all the features of your democratic. So democracy began to flourish after it has implemented in United States, and it is now popular throughout the world, children. And it allows citizens to choose the leaders in control of the government, and it is run by the people, or it is run for the will of the people. Okay. Next, we have another type of planning is centralized and decentralized planning. Here also we can see the differences between centralized and decentralized. Centralization, the retention of powers and authority with respect to planning and decisions with the top management. So here there is word one, retention. Retention is nothing but the continued possession or use of control of, sometimes direct control by the central government. Coming to the decentralization, the dissemination of authority, that is responsibility and accountability to the various management levels. Dissemination. Dissemination is nothing but, children, here spreading widely, you can take it, or distribution of work, scattering of work, or work transmission. So this all come under the decentralization. So the planning system, when you talk about the centralization, the planning system in the USSR, Soviet Russia, is based on the socialization of all the means of production, mass transportation and distribution, with all the concentration of the control. That is the example of your centralized Soviet Russia. And coming to your decentralization planning, it is a mixed economy, what you have in India. Okay, important decisions are taken by the planning authority and freedom is given to the units in execution. In decentralized planning system, coordination among the units in execution is ensured. Next, coming to the planning from the above and below. You can see on the screen, children, above, the Central Planning Authority prepares the plans for the nation and forwards them to the regional units. It is nothing but it's a very basic level, that is the top-down approach we call it, children. Attempts to move from the general to specific. This is a divergent approach. We call it as a divergent approach. In top-down planning, the first global objectives are defined and ways of achieving them are determined over here. And they are gradually moved to the lower levels of organization hierarchy to be developed and specified. Here we can take the example of our 5-year plans over here. And coming to the right hand side, that is below, okay, planning from below, it's like a bottom up approach, finds its way for the specific to general. It is a convergent approach. With the bottom up planning method, relatively narrow goals are initially set up and lower levels of organizational hierarchy. And the next coming up, the Niti Aayog, what we do, they do it in the second section. That is the best example for it, a National Institute of Transforming India. So after your 12th 5-year plan, the Niti Aayog came into existence. That would be a best example for your the planning from below. Next, you have the other type of planning, that is perspective planning and annual planning. Coming to your perspective planning is referred to a long-term planning. It is long-range targets are set in advance for a period of 15, 20 or 25 years. It does not imply one plan for the entire period. In reality, broader objectives are to be achieved by dividing the perspective plan into several short period plans. I can say here, perspective planning is nothing but a blueprint of development to be undertaken over a longer period. Perspective plan is normally split into short-term plans of 3 to 5 years, and it ensures continuity in planning. Coming to your right-hand side, your annual plan. A period of annual planning is only for 1 year. Annual plans are subdivided into annual allocations and targets for implementation. Strictly speaking, annual plans are the real worksheets of the economy in a particular year. Next comes the importance of planning. We have importance of planning over here, children. First one is your national resources. What are your national resources? See, here when you talk about planning correlated with your national resources, that means they are properly used as per the socio-economic needs of the country. So when you're talking about importance of planning with national resources, whether they are linked up, means whether the socio-economic needs of the country are fulfilled or not in this planning process. Coming to the second importance is industrial development and agricultural development. So both can be achieved at a higher level once you have a planning process. So to achieve a good development in both the sectors, then we need a proper planning. Or whatever 5-year plans we are taking, in that particular 5-year plan, we need to achieve a higher level. Third point is employment generation. So employment generation and corresponding income levels can be increased. So automatically once employment is generated in the economy, everybody will be getting into the jobs. Okay, they get their income. Once they get their income, automatically the living standards will, income levels will improve, standard of living will improve. By that, the growth rate or GDP can be increased. Coming to the fourth point is economic security. So it is again interlinked point, employment generation and economic security. So when you say employment generation means incomes are increased over there. Okay, majority people's income will increase. So here, provided a large majority of people through planning, we can achieve a economic security. Large majority people get economic security. The life will be settled, and they have a what do you say, free mind. Once they get the income, the economic security is achieved, they can concentrate on their work. So this all can be done in your planning process. Next is balanced regional development. So balanced regional development, the word itself tells us. Balanced means equal. Regional means areas. Development means kind of achievement, right? So this can be achieved only through the planning process. So equal regional development or achievement can be achieved only through a planning process. So that is should be effective. So through proper allocation of resources, this effectiveness can be achieved only with the planning concept. Then other point is your long run needs. Here the word itself tells us long run. Long run is nothing but it would be around 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So long run means period. It talks about the period. So in planning process only, the economy, keeping in view the long run needs of the economy, it will start planning and then you can achieve a best results. Task will be set and it will be achieved in the planning process. Coming to the other importance is social equality, social security, and social justice. So all are interlinked with each and every point. So through equal opportunities to the people can be made possible. So equality, social security, and social justice can be made possible only with the planning concept. Next, economical use and expenditure. When you talk about economical use and expenditure, the economy can have a frugal use of resources without any wastage, keeping the future generations in view. Means we have to use for ourselves in a such a way that in economical way, and also we have to keep our resources for the next generation also. What all we are enjoying now, that has to be forwarded to the next generation. That can be possible when we use our resources in an economical way. That can be done with a planning process. Next, growth rate in sectors. When you talk about the growth rate in sectors, we have three sectors: primary, secondary, and tertiary sector. All the three sectors have to be developed. In different sectors, higher growth can be achieved by this planned economics empirically. So we have to use planning in such a way that all the sectors have to be equally developed. Protect business fluctuations. When you talk about business fluctuations, okay, a planned economy will adjust quickly the changing conditions in the economy, which are unpredictable. It can protect the economy from business fluctuations by maintaining a proper balance between saving and investment. This all can be done once you are going in a planned manner. Next, utilization of resources. When you talk about utilization resources, through planning children, economic activities can be better organized, avoiding overproduction or underproduction. These two can be avoided once you are doing in a planned manner. Overproduction and underproduction can be avoided once you are doing in a planning process. The last importance of planning is social goals. Coming to social goals, a planned economy always gives importance to social gain, keeping the social goals of the nation in view. Next, we start with the first 5-year plans. It started in the year from 1951 to 1956. The first Indian Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, presented the 5-year plan to the Parliament of India on December 8, 1951. This plan This plan was based on the Harder-Domer model, and this plan addressed mainly the agrarian sector, including investment in dam irrigation. So when you talk about the Harder-Domer model, what is this Harder-Domer model? It is nothing but, children, increasing your national saving, increasing your net investment, large capital stock, raise in real GDP, GNI, increased factor incomes. These all come under Harder-Domer model. And this first 5-year plan is also called as Gadgil Yojana. The main target of this plan was to make the economy independent and to reach the self-active position to take off. The total planned budget was 2,069 crores, was allocated to 7 broad areas, that is irrigation and energy 27.2%, agriculture and community development 17.4%, transport and communication 24%, industry 8.4%, social services 16.64%, land rehabilitation 4.1%, and for other sectors and services 2.5%. So this particular first plan was named after Dhananjay Ramachandra Gadgil, a social scientist and a first centric of Indian planning. Coming to your second 5-year plan, was started from 1956 to 1961. The second 5-year plan focused on industry, especially heavy industry. So the large scale industries we're talking about. The second plan, particularly in the development of the public sector. The plan followed the Mahalanobis model. What do you mean by Mahalanobis model? It is nothing but economic development model by the Indian statistician Prashant Chandra Mahalanobis in 1953. An economic development model developed by the Indian statistician I just told. The plan attempted to determine the optimal allocation of investment between productive sector in order to maximize long-run economic growth. This third plan assumed a closed economy in which the main trading activity would be centered on importing your capital goods. So capital goods means you are aware of it. All the appliances, automobiles, machines, tools, all these come under your capital goods, children. The third 5-year plan started from 1956 to 1961. The third plan stressed on agriculture and improvement in the production of wheat. But the brief Sino-Indian War of 1962 exposed a weakness in the economy and shifted the focus towards the defense industry. What is the Sino-Indian War? It is also known as Indo-China War, which occurred on the border conflict in the year 1962. A Chinese disputed Himalayan border was the main cause of this war. And many cement and fertilizer plants were also built in the third 5-year plan. Punjab began producing an abundance of wheat, and many primary schools have been started in the rural area. Coming to the fourth 5-year plan, started from 1969 to 1974. This plan started by Indira Gandhi, a Prime Minister of India. The major important thing happened here is 14 major Indian national banks were nationalized. Green revolution in India improved agriculture. The target growth of fourth 5-year plan was 5.7%, and the actual growth was 3.35%. First superfast train Rajdhani Express was introduced and Madras renamed Tamil Nadu. Before going to the next plan, children, you have a gap between your third 5-year plan and a fourth 5-year plan. Okay, so when you see the years, I'll again show the screen. Third 5-year plan was 1956 to 1961, and fourth plan was from 1969 to 1974. You have a gap between them. So this gap was called as plan holiday. So plan holiday from 1966 to 69. Plan holiday is nothing but the gap that occurred in the planning process. Why this has occurred? Due to the miserable failure of the third plan, the government was forced to declare the plan holidays from 1966 to 67, 1967 to 68, 1968 to 69. 3 annual plans were drawn during this period. And next comes the fourth plan was launched by Indira Gandhi. Just now we spoke. Okay, and it's lot of pressure of drought, devaluation, and inflationary recession. And this result was that the plan period was also no better than the third 5-year plan. The plan holiday, it is just now we spoke, that is from 1966 to 69. India fought an Indo-Pakistan war with Pakistan. Due to this war, there was a severe drought in 1965. The war led to inflation and the priority was shifted to price stabilization, and the construction of dams continued in this plan holiday. And you have annual plans in the same way, 1966 to 1969. Original draft of fourth 5-year plan prepared by Ashok Mehta had to be abandoned due to severe drought, devaluation of rupee, and inflationary recession. And 3 annual plans and prevailing crisis in agriculture and serious food shortage necessity the emphasis on the agriculture children. Then next comes your fifth 5-year plan. Its duration was 1974 to 1979. In this plan, top priority was given to agriculture. Next came to industry and mines. Overall, this plan was successful, which achieved a growth of 4.8%, again the target of 4.4%. And the draft of this plan was prepared and launched by D.P. Dhar, and this plan was terminated in the year 1978. Coming to your sixth 5-year plan, 1980 to 1985. It focused increase on the national income, modernization of technology, ensuring continuous decrease in poverty and unemployment, population control through family planning, etc. were given importance in your sixth 5-year plan. Seventh plan started from 1985 to 1990. So here also you find a gap, children. 1980 and here there was a gap. 79, 74 to 79, find a gap. 79 to 80, rolling plan was from 7th to 8th plan, there was a gap. The Janata Party government rejected the 5th 5-year plan and introduced the new 6th plan in the year 1978 to 1980. This plan again rejected by the Indian National Congress government in 1980, a new sixth plan was made. And rolling plan was introduced by Janata Party, which formed a government led by Morarji Desai. And the rolling plan was rejected by Congress government when it came to power in 1980. Coming to your seventh plan is 1985 to 1990. There was a steady growth in agriculture, control on the rate of inflation, and favorable balance of payment, and strived towards socialism and energy production at large. Strove to bring about a self-sustained economy in the country, which valuable contributions for voluntary agencies and at the general populace. Coming to your eighth plan, the eighth plan here focused on the generation of adequate employment opportunities, containing population growth and strengthening infrastructure. Again, children, you find the gap between your seventh plan and eighth plan, 1990 to 1991. Why this gap has been taken? Due to the Gulf War, in this period, economy observed lot of problems, our Indian economy. The price of oil has increased very much due to the Gulf War. There was a serious shortage of foreign exchange reserves. Public sector performance was very, very poor. And this made our Indian government to rethink about the economic policies. And a new policy called LPG, or the New Industrial Policy in 1991, was introduced by P.V. Narasimha Rao government, and when Manmohan Singh was our Prime Minister. Coming to the 10th five-year plan, all villages to have sustained access to potable drinking water, cleaning of all major polluted rivers by 2007, economic growth further accelerated during this period and process over 8% by 2006, providing gainful and high quality employment, at least to addition to the labor force, and all children in India in schools by 2003, and to complete 5 years of schooling by 2007. Coming to your 11th five-year plan, started from 2007 to 2012. The title of the plan was Towards Faster and More Inclusive Growth. It envisaged a high growth rate of around 9%, implying a growth rate around 7.5% in the per capita GDP. It also ensured an overall improvement in quality of life of people. The vision of 11th plan includes rapid growth with reducing poverty and increasing employment opportunities, easy access to essential services in health and education for the poor, empowerment through education and development of skills, using the National Rural Employment Guarantee Program to extend employment opportunities to all, environmental sustainability, reducing gender inequality, improving the overall governance. These are all the views of your 11th five-year plan. Coming to the last 12th five-year plan was started from 2012 to 2017. So according to this plan, it must be guided by a vision of India moving forward in a manner that would ensure a broad-based improvement in the living standards of all the people through a growth process which is faster than in the past, more inclusiveness, and also more environmentally sustainable. The objective of this plan are as follows, children. A growth rate of 9%, focus on agriculture sector and have an average growth of 4% during the plan period, restrain inflationary pressure, and growth of GDP, ensuring that the commercial energy supplies grow at a rate of 6.5% to 7% per year, develop a holistic water management policy, suggest new legislation for the acquisition of land, continuous focus on health, education, and skill development, large investment in development of infrastructure sector, emphasize on the process of fiscal correction, and efficient use of available resources. Coming to the major objectives of the different plans, children, 1951 to 2012. I've given a table wherein you can see it very clearly. Plan period, and major objectives. First plan started in the year 1951 to 1956. Major objective of this plan was agriculture and irrigation development. Second plan, 1956 to 1961, development of large-scale industry. Third plan, 1961 to 66, self-sufficiency in food grain production. Fourth plan, 1969 to 1974, study, growth, self-reliance and Garibi Hatao. Fifth plan, 1974 to 1979, poverty eradication and self-reliance. Sixth plan, 1980 to 1985, poverty eradication through providing gainful employment. Sixth plan, 1985 to 1990, increase in food grain production and productivity. Eighth plan, 1992 to 1997, human resource development. Ninth plan, 1997 to 2002, equality, economic growth with social justice. 10th plan, 2002 to 2007, equality, social justice, enhancement in quality of human. 11th plan, 2007 to 2012, that's about the inclusive growth in short. And 12th plan, 2012 to 2017, faster, sustainable, and more inclusive growth. So, when you talk about recapitulation, children, we have learned about the concept of planning. I already told it is a technique and conscious effort made to achieve certain predetermined objectives. Coming to your types of planning, planning under capitalism, mixed economy, socialism, democratic planning, authoritative planning, centralized, decentralized, perspective, etc. We all talked about the types of planning. And importance also we talked about national resources, industrial, agriculture, long-run needs, social equality, social goals, etc. come under your importance. Coming to your objectives of 5-year plan, the first 5-year plans in India was launched in 1951, and since India has launched 12 5-year plans, and the present NDA government has dissolved the planning commission and has replaced with the Niti Aayog that we are going to discuss in tomorrow's session. And you have a improve your learning questions. What are the major objectives of planning in India? Explain the performance of 5-year plans in India in relation to objectives. Explain the growth performance during 5-year plans. And you have a small activity, children, over here. Explain any 2 objectives of each 5-year plans. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. In this chapter, we all have learned about the concept, types, and importance of planning. You also have understood and got a broader view about the 12 5-year plans and how the economic development of a country in this planning has taken place at an adequate pace in the right direction for a sustainable development. Madam has given us a broader view over the 12 5-year plans and hope you all have jotted out the points and would have going to do the assignment as well as the activity given to you children. Thank you, ma'am, for a wonderful session. Thank you all the viewers. We will continue this webinar session with the commerce session in a short while. Thank you.